This video is sponsored by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people who click the link in the description below will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. Watch to the end to learn more. It all happened during that magical summer of 2000. Everything on radio was either bubblegum pop or post-grunge angst. Last Night was still 6 months away. Something had to fill the void, and that something was Wheatus and Teenage Dirtbag, featuring the hip-hop inflections of nu metal, the teen drama of pop-punk, and an all-time pop earworm of a chorus. It was the sound of the times, but unlike anything else, though it was their only true international hit. Its tale of young love not fitting in and Iron Maiden would capture the hearts of a generation. This is the story of Teenage Dirtbag. Teenage Dirtbag is, in essence, the story of Wheatus's lead singer and only consistent member, Brendan B. Brown. Born in 1973, he grew up in Northport, New York. Though he listened to his parents' singer-songwriter records as a kid, the first music that truly felt his own was heavy metal. When I was 9 years old and I saw Angus Young from AC/DC on TV, I kinda said to myself, man, if there's any version of that I can do for a living, I will have it. I just thought that was so cool. Brown started playing guitar almost immediately after, and alongside AC/DC, his early idols included Rush, Metallica, and of course, Iron Maiden. But his obsession with hard rock hit a roadblock when in the summer of 1984, in the woods behind his house, 17-year-old Ricky Kasso stabbed his friend to death, allegedly in the name of Satan. Brown's conservative Christian hometown blamed heavy metal for this tragedy. The Rolling Stone article on the event described the teenage killer as a dirtbag. The murderer was wearing an AC/DC t-shirt, and after the murder those letters came to mean Antichrist, Devil Child. I was an AC/DC fan, so I became a dirtbag in the eyes of the authorities of my little seaside town. Because of the killing being so close to their home and fearing for their son's safety, his parents sent Brown to a new school 80 minutes away, which meant instead of a social life, he ended up spending his time practicing guitar. And because of his love of out-of-vogue metal, he'd also become a target for bullies. I would get beat up by older kids and there'd be a lot of homophobic slurs. They didn't know anything about you at all, it's just what they said. I found that it compressed the time that you're actually having the shit kicked out of you if you antagonized them by donning a girl voice. This defense tactic would bleed into the final verse of his future anthem. I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Giving himself the happy ending he wasn't currently experiencing. After some limited underground success with the skatecore group Mr. Jones in the early 90s, Brown went solo from 1994 and spent the next few years working on ideas for the group that would become Wheatus. Since 95, he was toying with the rudiments of Teenage Dirtbag. The chorus melody and the oh yeah part were already in there, and I couldn't really forget them. There was something that was really sad and something really sweet and nice about it. It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime melodies that works for every reason. Lyrically, Brown reflected on his childhood and implemented scenery from the 1980s. Because of his isolated adolescence and being educated at an all-boys school, he had lacked the usual coming-of-age events like dating or prom. The imagery in the song is mostly taken from the movies of John Hughes, while the line "in kids and tube socks" is evocative of Jennifer Grey's attire in Dirty Dancing. Despite AC/DC being his adolescent heroes, Iron Maiden were the key group mentioned, as through albums like Number of the Beast, they became the poster band for the 80s satanic panic scare. As such, the chorus is a defiant defense of his beloved metal music. When I sing, I'm effectively saying, yeah, fuck you if you don't like it. Just because I like AC/DC doesn't mean I'm a devil worshipper, and you're an idiot. Musically though, Brown had something extremely specific in mind. I have vivid memories of explaining to the producer, Phil, that I wanted Teenage Dirtbag to sound like Metallica, AC/DC, Paul Simon, and James Taylor from the waist up. And then from the waist down, LL Cool J and Public Enemy, like hip hop feet with rock and roll hands. As a production concept, that's difficult. Brown has in particular cited Taylor's Fire and Rain as a reference point for the acoustic verses.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone.
J Mascis and Sugar Style fuzz guitar for the chorus. But with punchy AC/DC drums. By 1998, the lineup of Wheatus would be fleshed out by Brown's brother, Peter, on bass, Rich Lively on drums, as well as multi-instrumentalist and producer Philip A. Jimenez. After recording an album's worth of demos at Brown's parents' house, the band were disappointed by a lack of interest from labels. This was until the group utilized some emergent technology to get Teenage Dirtbag out there. The internet wasn't really a thing yet, but we put the song up on something called Billboard Talent Net. Within a week, we were the most downloaded song in New York. We'd been playing little venues. After that, there were 3 labels at the shows wanting to sign us. The group soon signed to Sony, who were more than prepared to release their demos as Wheatus's debut. Instead, Brown took the band's advance and re-recorded the album to a more professional quality, to truly get the sound that he imagined in his head. Teenage Dirtbag was released as a single in July 2000. The song had trouble getting any pop radio airplay in their home country, not helped by the line, slightly over a year since the Columbine school shooting. That line would forever be censored by a record scratch. Their label also wanted Brown to re-record his vocal for broader appeal. In America, we were hard to place. Record executives literally said to me, I need you to re-sing this song more like a guy, because radio won't have you singing like a girl. While it never entered the US Billboard Hot 100, it peaked at number 7 on the alternative chart, and was a major hit elsewhere. In the UK, it managed to stay at number 2 for 2 weeks in 2001, held off by girl group Atomic Kitten and Whole Again.
You still turn me on. You can make me whole again.
They grabbed top placing in the Australian, Austrian and Belgian charts. Despite being the only song many people know by Wheatus, they earned an additional top 5 hit in the UK with a cover of Erasure's A Little Respect. And bringing the Iron Maiden nod full circle, their definitive frontman Bruce Dickinson supplied additional vocals for the single version of Wanna Be Gangster. Since then, Teenage Dirtbag has re-entered the UK charts 6 times between 2011 and 2016, refreshed into public consciousness with a barrage of genre-spanning covers.
'Cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag, baby. 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 I'm just a teenage dirtbag, baby.
But the most interesting reworking of Teenage Dirtbag was by Wheatus themselves. In 2000, Brown had lent Sony his ADAT tape of their debut album masters so that it could get released. In a collision of bad timing, major label apathy, and Wheatus leaving the label in 2006, the tape was never backed up to digital and never returned to him. Not having access to the master copy of their sole international hit had forced Wheatus to miss out on licensing opportunities, such as appearing in films, the Rock Band video game series, and being sampled and remixed by various artists. So in 2020, for the song's 20th anniversary, the band recreated the song as close as possible. This meant getting the original band, who'd slowly departed, back together and trying to remember exactly what they'd done 2 decades previous. Issues included working out exactly what that phone synth sample was.
She rings my bell. She rings my bell. I got
and going deep into why the drums sound a little more stereo in the chorus. The band managed to get it so close to the original recording that when they uploaded it to YouTube, they got a copyright notification from Sony, which of course they disputed. While the bands might grow to despise their breakout hit, Brown still thinks fondly of Teenage Dirtbag. I always really liked the song. It's never worn on me or any of the band members. It's a challenging song if played correctly. It's got this really weird funky slink in the verses that you have to pay attention to. It's not like you can just phone it in. It's an uncompromised collection of what my life has been like, and what my life was like when I wrote it. And I'm quite happy it continues saying that to people. Since its release, Teenage Dirtbag has emerged as an evergreen 2000 standard. It was in the top 50 most played radio songs of the decade in both the UK and Australia. Rarely has there been a rock-oriented club night, house party or karaoke session where Wheatus didn't rear their antisocial head. It's a song that extols the virtues of heavy metal, of Iron Maiden, yet is a song that stands side by side with How Soon Is Now, Weezer's Buddy Holly or My Chemical Romance's I'm Not Okay, in the subgenre of songs about not fitting in that have helped a generation fit in. Because that's the thing, everyone at some time or another has been rejected or alone, has been a teenage dirtbag, and Wheatus gave them that much sought after happy ending. You feeling like this new year is missing in new you? Don't know how to get started? Well, if you want to self-improve, then Skillshare may be the service for you. Skillshare is an online learning community for anyone who wants to learn something new, where millions have come together to take their next step in their creative journey. This month I watched Logo Design with Draplin, Secrets of Shape, Type and Color. In it, Aaron Draplin of Draplin Graphic Design provides helpful tips and shortcuts in Illustrator for creating beautiful work in a hyper-efficient manner. But maybe logo design isn't your thing. Maybe you want to improve your cooking ability. With Nick Andera's Italian Chef Secrets, how to make a perfect thin crust pizza, Skillshare has that covered too. Today is the perfect time to do that thing you always wanted to do. The first 1,000 people who follow the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. After your trial ends, Skillshare costs as little as $10 per month for unlimited learning. So click that link, acquire a new skill, and become a better you. Thanks for watching. What songs from the 2000s do you think have reached timeless status? Comment down below and like, subscribe, and hit that bell. If you really like my work, maybe check out my Patreon for cool rewards. I'd like to give a big thanks to my new top tier supporter, Steve Morano. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.